Dostoyevsky, the genius who shaped science. The question of the most intelligent person to ever live is open to debate. Often, the answer given is Albert Einstein. Undoubtedly, his contributions to science are indisputable. However, the answer to this question is quite specific. If the topic is painting, Leonardo da Vinci or Vincent van Gogh might be considered the most intelligent. From an architectural perspective, a different name could emerge. In fact, depending on our mindset and current interests, the choice of the most intelligent person may constantly change. For example, during a period when we are interested in physics, we might see Albert Einstein as the most intelligent, whereas when we delve into literature, we might consider Dostoyevsky. However, it should not be forgotten that Dostoyevsky made extraordinary contributions not only to literature but also to other fields of science. Fyodor Mikhailovich Dostoyevsky is regarded as one of the greatest writers in Russian literature. In fact, according to many renowned authors, he is the best writer in the world. When asked, what are the greatest novels of all time, many literary experts have answered with Crime and Punishment and The Brothers Karamazov. This is not surprising. Of course, our circumstances, interests, and what we seek may influence this preference. However, when viewed broadly, these two masterpieces, which have left an extraordinary mark, have been significant sources of knowledge for many thinkers. Great thinkers such as Nietzsche and Freud were inspired by Dostoyevsky's works. In a letter to Peter Gast, Nietzsche wrote, "Dostoyevsky is the only psychologist from whom I have learned something." This statement demonstrates the profound admiration Nietzsche had for Dostoyevsky. Moreover, this is no ordinary praise. The fact that a philosopher who left a profound mark on history would offer such high praise to a writer of equal influence deeply moves me as a reader. This is a unique tribute from one historically significant figure to another. Furthermore, many renowned philosophers, writers, and thinkers have made various comments about Dostoyevsky. His deep psychological analyses, sharp observations on human nature, and philosophical inquiries have influenced countless intellectuals. Here are some notable figures and their views on Dostoyevsky. Jean-Paul Sartre. In Dostoyevsky's works, we clearly see the weight of freedom and man's questioning of his own existence. As a key figure in existentialism, Sartre saw Dostoyevsky's character's struggles between freedom and responsibility as a foundational element of modern philosophy. Sigmund Freud. Dostoyevsky is not just a writer, he is also a psychoanalyst. Freud believed that Dostoyevsky's analyses of crime, guilt, and human psychology were invaluable to the field of psychoanalysis. He regarded The Brothers Karamazov as a psychological masterpiece. Albert Camus. Dostoyevsky's works are the cornerstone of absurdist philosophy. Camus acknowledged Dostoyevsky's influence on his works, such as The Plague and the Stranger, in exploring humanity's search for meaning. Leo Tolstoy. Dostoyevsky's characters are more real than real life. Tolstoy admired Dostoyevsky's ability to explore the depths of the human soul. Franz Kafka. Without Dostoyevsky's works, my writings would be incomplete. Kafka's novels, especially The Trial and The Castle, reflect Dostoyevsky's influence. Virginia Woolf. Dostoyevsky's novels take us on a journey into the most complex depths of the human mind. Woolf found his characters' inner monologues compelling and saw his influence in the evolution of modern literature. Ernest Hemingway. Dostoyevsky's writing is like an emotional volcano. Hemingway admired the intensity of emotions and dramatic expression in Dostoyevsky's works. Dostoyevsky left a deep impact not only in philosophy and literature but also in various fields of science. By examining the darkest and most genuine aspects of human nature, he inspired both philosophers and writers. The scientific fields influenced by Dostoyevsky. Dostoyevsky did not only shape the world of literature, he profoundly influenced multiple scientific disciplines. The psychological depth, social analysis, and sharp observations on human nature in his works have resonated across various academic fields. Here are some scientific disciplines that Dostoyevsky impacted. 1. Psychology and psychoanalysis. Dostoyevsky's detailed exploration of human psychology significantly contributed to the development of psychology as a science. Sigmund Freud described Dostoyevsky as the greatest writer preceding psychoanalysis and linked the father-son conflicts in the brothers Karamazov to the Oedipus complex. Carl Jung noted traces of the collective unconscious in Dostoyevsky's works. Viktor Frankl drew inspiration from Dostoyevsky's philosophical inquiries on suffering and the search for meaning in developing logotherapy. 2. Philosophy and existentialism. Dostoyevsky's characters frequently question free will, ethics, and the existence of God. Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus built the foundations of existentialist philosophy based on Dostoyevsky's notes from Underground and Crime and Punishment. Friedrich Nietzsche called Dostoyevsky one of the greatest psychologists of the human soul and was influenced by his analysis of nihilism. 3. Sociology and political science. Dostoyevsky's analyses of Russian society and human nature have fueled important debates in sociology and political science. Contrary to Karl Marx, Dostoyevsky developed a perspective that focused on individual morality and internal struggle. George Orwell was inspired by Dostoyevsky's criticisms of authoritarianism and individual freedom in writing 1984 and Animal Farm. 4. Criminology and law. Crime and punishment has become a fundamental reference in studies on criminal psychology. Cesare Lombroso related Dostoyevsky's exploration of guilt and crime to criminological theories. Modern legal systems focus on the criminal's psychological state aligns with Dostoyevsky's character analyses. 5. Neurology and medicine. Dostoyevsky, an epilepsy patient, detailed his experiences in his works. Neurologists have studied the symptoms of epileptic seizures in his books. Physicians like Fyodor Sharapov and Oliver Sacks have analyzed his descriptions of epilepsy from a scientific perspective. Dostoyevsky's literary genius has deeply influenced psychology, philosophy, sociology, law, neurology, and art. His works serve as a laboratory of the human soul for scientists and thinkers. Can you imagine influencing numerous scientific disciplines just by writing novels? I am particularly fascinated by his impact on medical science. Why are Dostoyevsky's works so powerful? Realistic and profound character analysis. His exile in Siberia and personal experiences allowed him to depict criminal psychology and human nature's dark side with stunning accuracy. Social critiques. He examined poverty, injustice, and moral decay not only as individual issues but also as societal phenomena. Psychological depth. By exposing people's inner conflicts and subconscious, he pioneered modern psychology. Dostoyevsky should be seen not just as a novelist but as a philosopher, psychologist, and social observer. This extraordinary man continues to influence the world after nearly 2 centuries, still moving, delighting, challenging, and shaping our perception. For nearly 2 centuries, he has been shaping science. I want to conclude with a chilling quote from E. H. Carr's book Dostoyevsky. Dostoyevsky is a writer who leads people to the edge of the abyss and relies on a half-rotten, trembling wooden railing to keep them from falling.